Duffy's Lucky Escape by Ellie Jackson and Liz Oldmeadow. Once off an island far, far away in the sun and the sea lived a beautiful sea turtle called Duffy. She happily swam in the warm, clear waters of her coral reef, searching for tasty jellyfish and shimmering shoals of fish to eat. She liked to dive down to the sandy sea floor to munch on waving beads of delicious seagrass, and then she would float gently up to the surface to bask in the hot tropical sun. One day, a wild and ferocious storm wiped up the sea into towering waves which crashed down on poor Duffy. The storm raged on, sending her spinning and tumbling away from her home, pushing her far out to sea. After the storm, the sea became calm once more. Duffy found herself surrounded by strange shadows and unknown creatures that slid past her in the dark and murky waters. Duffy was hungry and began her search for food, desperately trying to find the rocks and reefs of home. Flashes of color started to dance and twirl in front of her like the shimmering fish she remembered from her own coral reef. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, she chased these colorful flashes, snapping them up in her mouth and gulping them down. Strange objects were floating around Duffy and looked like jellyfish in the gloomy waters. They had short tentacles and balloon-shaped bodies, and they wallowed slowly in the drifting currents. Duffy thought they were food and reached out through the water to swallow their slimy bodies into her rapidly filling tummy. For a long time, Duffy floated and rested on the surface as she was starting to feel strange inside her shell. Her tummy was hurting her, and a light, bubbly feeling kept gurgling up through her body. She longed for some cool seagrass to soothe her aching tummy, but she couldn't dive deep enough to reach any. She didn't understand what was happening to her. Once powerful flippers felt weak, and her body kept pulling her back to the surface. Duffy heard a loud roaring and whining noise circling around her. It scared and confused her so much that she didn't know which way to go. Suddenly, she was pulled backwards, then lifted up high out of the water and into the fisherman's boat. She lay quiet and still, frightened by the noise and the smells of the people who had rescued her. The fishermen had seen turtles like this before, floating and not able to dive, and they knew Duffy needed help. The kind fishermen slowly poured seawater over Duffy so she could stay cool on the journey to the safety and peace of the turtle hospital. At the turtle hospital, there were lots of blue tanks filled with clear running water which were home to other sick turtles. Gentle hands cleaned and scraped the seaweed from her shell. Duffy was fed fresh fish, octopus and jellyfish to build up her strength, but still the pain inside her tummy grew. Duffy was placed on a special bed with vets looking after her. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of the beach where she was born. While she slept, she had an X-ray taken which showed that the food she had eaten after the storm was not colorful fish or jellyfish, but plastic bags, bits of old drinks bottles, and crisp wrappers, which people had thrown away and had washed into the sea or been left on the beach. The plastic rubbish floating in the sea had tricked Duffy to look like food, and she had gobbled it up, which then made her very sick. The vets had to operate on Duffy to remove the plastic from her stomach, otherwise, she would have died. Duffy was lucky as she started to recover. She grew stronger and heavier again. Her shell started to shine, her flippers were powerful, and her body was healthy. She was moved into a large tank with all the creatures she remembered from her reef, darting colorful shoals of tropical fish, large and limbering sharks, and gliding rays. Duffy felt relaxed, confident in her strong swimming and graceful diving, and she enjoyed being with her new friends in the aquarium whilst the visitors watched and smiled. Finally, the day came when Duffy was fully recovered and ready to be released back to her home. People gathered on the beach to watch Duffy being returned to the sea. The children eagerly peered into her crate to see her, and the news cameras took pictures for the whole country to see. Duffy was carried down to the beach where she looked around her at the two lines of cheering people and at the shimmering ocean she remembered so well. And then the strong hands released her, and finally she was free. She scrambled over the sand, instinct steering her down the beach into the warm water and then under the sea. A breath once more, then under again. Duffy happily swam back to her home among the reefs and the seagrass, free of the plastic that people had put into the sea, free to chase and hunt, to swim and to dive once again. Did you know there are 7 different types of sea turtle and all of them are endangered? This means they could become extinct unless people protect them and their habitats. The biggest sea turtle is the leatherback, which can grow up to 2 meters. That's as big as your teacher is tall. Some turtles are much smaller and only grow to the size of a cat. Sea turtles generally like to live and in warm seas as they are cold-blooded reptiles. They have scaly skin, breathe air, and lay eggs. Sea turtles have big, powerful flippers at the front to propel through the water, and back flippers are used for steering. Leatherbacks are the fastest and can swim as fast as a dog can run. Different types of sea turtles like to eat different types of food, such as seagrass, jellyfish, seaweed, crabs, fish, and shrimp. Sea turtles can hold their breath for several hours if they are resting, but if they are busy feeding, they need to surface every few minutes for air. They can live as long as people, up to 100 years. Be a wild tribe hero and help stop plastic in our oceans. Use less plastic. Stop using single-use plastics such as drinking straws and plastic bags. Bring your own bags to the shops and say no to plastic straws. Stop buying bottled water. Carry a reusable bottle. Recycle your rubbish at home and at school. Go plastic free for your school lunchbox. Pick up litter you see around you if safe to do so. Report injured wildlife to the local charity or vets. Tell other people about the problem with plastic in the oceans, and help spread the word by making posters and writing letters to save marine wildlife like Duffy. Your actions will make a difference.